I think people seeing that realize who they are. And then it creates different conversations. So welcome everybody. This is Coach's Corner. I'm Coach Linden and this is
Coach Debbie here.
All right, and we're just covering, again, doing the same thing we always do. Y'all know we get in here, we cover conversations, topics, things that come up for us, things we hear in the space, and just chat about them for a little bit, help give people more perspective. For those who, we got different crews that come in the mornings and the nights, so it kind of brings it all together. This is for you guys, and I'm just hoping that whoever if they can benefit from this conversation, they do. So that's why we do it. Is there anything you want to talk about? You've been talking about.
I got so much to talk about. God damn it.
Yeah, normally I'm just like going, but
I might be leading this one.
All right, go ahead.
I've been hearing a lot of feedback about Coach's Corner.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't heard any feedback.
I know. That's why I was like, I'm sitting on this till we start this thing.
I've been waiting for you to say
Did you press play?
Nah. All right.
Yeah,
what's the feedback?
It's crazy. Like, I'm hearing, first off, that people are watching.
Which is good.
Yeah. Also, I didn't realize, I'm hearing that people have watched all the episodes.
Oh, shoot. That I did not know.
Literally all the episodes.
Oh, okay.
Like,
all right.
From everyone that I've heard watched it, they watched all the episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the feedback I'm getting is our relationship and seeing the progression of Coach's Corner.
From the beginning until
now.
Huh.
And seeing how it feels more now like it is a Coach's Corner. And before it felt like it was a podcast trying to be something. And as our relationship grows and we understand each other, like I'm talking more, it's more of a conversation.
Yeah.
I heard when Kayla was here in the Coach's Corner, it was more like you leading and us like.
Kind of just riffing off what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah.
I'm getting that feedback a lot. I'm getting that it's insightful to hear the experiences that we have here or just in community and how we're viewing them.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
I mean,
fair.
I'm hearing from a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And I was like,
so we're going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. That's it's good feedback. I mean, it's what we wanted. And at the beginning, that was what it was, right? Like it was a lot of, I was like, hey, let's sit down and chat. And everybody's like.
And it's the comfortability on camera too.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Happens with me, but I'm definitely, like just this morning, shout outs to LaWanda. That was a compliment. I know she was like putting it out there.
Yeah, she thought she was just messing with you, but I was like, no, you have no idea how big of a compliment that is for Devin.
She said, I got the talking down, the verbal. the verbal I got down maybe too much, which is, if you know me, it's very different.
Yeah.
I haven't had that feedback from anyone up until LaWanda, so.
Fair. But that says a lot about, like, LaWanda is one of our newer people, especially to training and everything else. So that says a lot about who you've turned yourself into, right? Like, for those who have seen you in different stages, like I've heard other feedback where it goes, well, he just stands in the corner and just kind of tells us what to do. And then if I think about that versus this morning based on, the improvement, like you commanded the room today a couple different times, right? I was worried because I was trying to get my wife back into town and then she wanted to start talking about heavy stuff and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But the good thing was like we were having a lighter training morning. So when June came in, I was like, I told you, I said, I'll know like when you're ready.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I know for a lot of times people are looking for those checklist things.
Yeah.
But today you saw, I was just like, I looked in, you was going, you had your computer out. I was like, cool. Like I didn't walk back in. I didn't fix nothing. I just let you guys go and checked every once in a while, but like really in a truck, like not a check in. Like I make sure he ain't hurt nobody. No, like you knew what you were doing. The client was more than able to give the responses and feedback you needed. I felt safe with you doing it. All right. So yeah, you've progressed as an individual and it shows in all aspects of your life. So big ups to Coach Dev for becoming a better person overall and how it's affecting each and every one of you. More authentic, I shouldn't say better person, more authentic to who he is, which in turn is exactly, now if you said, I said this to you before, if you said your word is love now, I'd agree. Now I'd agree. Before it was like something we laughed about, I don't know, bruh. Now if you told me, because the thing you're doing is the extension of the love you've always wanted to show.
Yeah.
Right? And your comment earlier, which you can definitely get to, was about how you were upset at the fact that you had a chance to experience it before, but because that opportunity was taken from you, it created a different space where you weren't exactly happy about it.
Yeah.
Fair? So, good stuff.
Yeah. I also want to talk about this weekend. This weekend was pretty lit. It was long.
Yeah, your first long one, like truly long one.
This shit was long. I was like, God damn. Like, first off, you killed us on Saturday.
I tried.
Shout outs to everyone who showed up for the community training at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
It's free to the community, so if you want to be part of it, please just show up. June bought his friend Anthony.
Yeah.
And dude's a monster. He's a beast. Also, like, just a good soul, I could tell. We had a great conversation after the training, got to know him a little bit, and I mean, we were in here just being dogs. It was like, I don't know, the community's changing. Like, I love seeing the I love seeing the dudes, you know, like we got so many guys in here, and
literally
we were just like shirts off going in, 500 crunches. My hip flexors are on fire. And then and then Sunday morning I want to go for a 3-mile run, huh?
Yeah.
Like killing me. But it was good to be in community with everyone.
What's it like I'm only stopping you because I think it's important that they know, like, what's it like? Because again, you guys see me do that stuff all the time, like push forward in adversity and show up regardless. But this was your first time where you had to show up, because I wasn't even involved and have it. So it wasn't like, man, Linda's gonna be mad at me. It was, no, you had to show up, right? So how'd that feel?
If you're asking how it feels, like, it's weird. Like, I told you from the beginning, I don't show up for myself. So you told me to reframe it as showing up for others, showing up for community, and I did. And that's what's gotten me here to, like, this consistency is, like, everything that I'm improving in myself, I'm really doing it so I can extend it to others. And the more I lean into that, like, I honestly don't care. You know, like, I don't care how beat up my body is when I wake up. I do, like, it hurts, you know, but, like,
you're
then
mindful of it, but it's not stopping you anymore.
Yeah, well, once I, like, switch over to the mindset of, like, what do I have to do today and for who, then it's
what we call that, right?
What?
When you start showing up for others instead of yourself? Gratitude.
Fair.
Do you get what I'm saying? Your word now, the love word makes sense?
Fair.
Showing up from a space of gratitude now. It's no longer about how I feel. It's about what people need. And I'm grateful that I'm in a position to be able to give that to people. Yeah, that's exactly what you guys see me show up and do all the fucking time. It was, that's why I was curious, right? But it's like, I had my kids this weekend, you know what I'm saying? And like, my wife is an amazing mother, right? Like, amazing. So a lot of the times I'm here, I get to do what I do because Ash holds my home down when it comes to my kids. And I got a 1-year-old at the crib, for those who don't know. And it's tougher to be Mr. Getting It Daily when all the things in your life push you to just taking a break. So where I felt like I could back off before, or where I felt like I wanted to back off before, I wasn't sure if I could. And watching you lately has made me feel okay with that, right? Like, being like, I can take time off. I just told you, I was like, I'm not gonna be here. And I didn't check in, I didn't call. If you hit me, I was like, cool. But I didn't call you because I was like, I think he's ready to soar a little bit on his own, right? Like, you are growing into who you wanna be. And that in and of itself, the stuff that comes with that, it's tough stuff. That's actually what I was halfway going to talk about when I came in here, because I'm being pushed to a new space too. Right? You now stepping into what I'm asking for means that I have permission now to go higher, and I feel like all good relationship works like that, right? If we're all holding up a bridge, you know, somebody's got to take my spot for me to be able to start to build the next one. I can't build it with the burden on my back and my hands full. You know, but once my hands are relieved a little bit, I can start. So that's what it feels like to me in this new chapter. Whereas I still feel myself. I laugh and joke about it when we were all together. I'll say stuff like, I'll say stuff like, yeah, man, I'm just trying to keep up with y'all, man. Y'all pushing me to be better. But it's really true. Like, it's not, when Garth shows up and presses and does some crazy stuff, it makes me go, I only did the 80s, right? Garth is twice my size,
right?
But it still makes me have that connection, right? Or when June shows up and he's an absolute dog, or when you show up and you do something that I can't do, it makes me go, got it, right? Oh, okay, I can do better. And then that's where that comes. Yeah. That is the space of gratitude. I used to work out to almost damn near punish myself, right? And I wasn't thinking about it like that, but that's really what was happening. You've heard from me, and I'm gonna let you take it after this, but this was something I was really thinking about. Yeah. Remember, you've heard me refer to it like when I was a bodybuilder, I was like, I want to be strong. I called it rattle in the cage. So in order to be the man at home I needed to be, I learned to separate old school, angry, didn't understand his stuff, Lyndon in a cage. Mm-hmm. And I learned to put him away to be who I needed to be for my family. And the more I healed, like you'd see me say it, like if you look, I could show old bodybuilding footage, I would shake the bar before I went because I called it rattling my cage or waking up my demons. Mm-hmm. And I was being honest. I think most people think that's just something you say. But for me, it was bigger than that, right? I was thinking about legitimately what it means to access a part of myself that the rest of society doesn't necessarily accept, right?
Yeah, it's powerful because like I like to hear shit like that and immediately like apply it to my life. Like, all right, does that resonate with me? Yes. How? Why?
Fair.
And I think my version of that is what we're talking about now. Like, I think I subconsciously packed away anger and like all of those things that, as a black man, it feels like straight to jail. It feels like a straight to jail card, like expressing
that's kind of what we're taught, to be completely honest. Yeah. We're taught expressions of anger can lead to horrible consequences. Yeah.
And I don't think we see enough healthy expressions of anger. And that's really what I want to talk about is like I'm feeling anger for like the first time in like a intentional, I don't know, like in a healthy way, I think.
Okay, you want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I went out this morning and I met with the fellas, right?
Yeah.
Conflict was talked about, how to resolve conflict, and then Kay brought up anger. And like when he was talking to the guy, it wasn't nice. Right, like Ray was talking about being more nice, and Kay was like, no, I wasn't nice, and he respected everything I had to say, and I was like, that's because anger isn't bad. I was like, and he started talking about how there were different forms of anger. I said, actually, I think we blanket our emotions with anger, and then we started talking about it. So I've said this to you, but I'm going to say this here because it'll help Taya, I think. Instead of calling it anger, I called it righteous indignation. See, you knew exactly where I was going, right? Yeah. A lot of that has to do with, I'm so convicted about a thing that I am upset and willing to stand my ground in said thing. You're healing. So like you're talking about the missed opportunity from when you were a kid based on things outside of your control.
Right.
And if you want to share, you can. I don't want to say something you don't want to talk about. Of course we're
going to share. Yo, I don't think I would know.
Look, some stuff you don't want to talk about. So I try to make sure I'm not the one that shares it.
Yeah, I got you.
But sometimes when that stuff happens, it becomes it's a foothold to create the change you're looking for. So like you showed up in spite of, and then it highlights when people don't.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like you look back and we're like, damn, that's the time of my life where somebody just did selfishly and I hate it. And then you realize like there's no growth to be had there, right? Makes you look back at all your relationships. And for me, when I started to become more of a man, I started looking at the female relationships in my life a lot more scrutinous, right? Who I was close to, who I spent my time with, what they mean to me, how I express that, all of that. You get what I'm saying? I think that's where you're at. And like, you making some big transitions, like some huge ones.
Yeah.
All of that is becoming, you're barely putting it out there. Imagine what it's like when you step into it. And then you're just like, this is what we're doing, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and what it's going to do for your life. You're already getting to see it across the board.
Yeah.
So, please, you were saying.
Oh yeah, speaking on anger, so some context for that. I had I grew up an only child. My mom's is who I was raised by. I had a stepdad, Wayne. He actually lives here in Rochester. Shout outs to Wayne if you ever see this. Wayne Sutherland. Yeah, he was in my life for like 12 years when I lived in Flint, Michigan. Pretty much my dad. And I feel, at least in my recollection, it felt all of a sudden that Wayne wasn't in the picture anymore. And I remember asking my mom a few times, you know, what's up with Wayne? You know, like, where's Wayne at? He's absent now. And her excuse was, you know, he smokes weed. And I accepted that answer. And I think that's where the anger comes from. It's like, it's not, to me, that's not worth giving up 12 years of relationship
at all
with someone. Like, it's not a good enough excuse. And I was too old to like really like not say anything back, you know? So I'm like sitting on this confusion, which I think turns into anger.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what I'm realizing is I've said it for years. Like, I see people angry and I'm like, nah, you're not angry, you're just confused. You stopped being curious and it turned into anger.
If we take it around, right? And this isn't to speak on this in depth, but to talk about where things happen in journey.
Yeah.
So like, think about, you know, we're both two young black men trying to grow up in a world that has taught us to be silent and quiet, and we have our different, again, we got our different backgrounds, the things we've dealt with. But it's interesting how just existing the way we exist pushed us into different spaces and the same type of states. See, I got fortunate, but also, you know, it was the burden of the burden of responsibility was thrust on me a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Because I became a father, right? Like, so like that is what helped me to see myself. Like, there's nothing more life-changing than having a child tell you who you are, like what they see from you, because it's from a pure space.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? They're not clouded by the nonsense of the world. So if they say you make them sad or they're scared of you, you're a scary individual. You're an angry individual. You got to kind of look at it, right? For real. Yeah. Every time my son sees me, it like runs to me, just wants to be near his dad. And like, I remember my first year, all I did was cry. Every time I held him, I'm just crying. He's smiling at some small thing I'm doing. And I'm like, it's not even that big of a deal. Boom, tears, right? And Ashley doesn't get that. But she has said things like, loving your son the way I've had to has led me to realize how much I haven't loved you like that. You get what I'm saying? And for me, I didn't connect that either. How much I need and what I'm looking for and the expressions of the things. So the changes that happen in your life, the burden of responsibility helps to forge the man that you are. Watching somebody like Wayne, who seems like they would be an amazing individual based on what your mother chose. And you know, it becomes like, you're like, I'm starting to look up to this man because of who he is. And then one day he's no longer there. And you don't even know why. And you're asking. Your mother thinks she's probably protecting you by telling you, yeah, it's this. Yeah. But really, it was something much deeper. I'm sure if you had that conversation with your mom now, it would be like.
And that's what I'm coming to the realization of. It's like the anger is like interesting to feel, because I'm like, I know what the solution is. I've been telling people all these years that, hey, like, get curious. You know, I saw Wayne like 5 months ago now.
Okay.
Like outside randomly. Like, he was talking with someone. As soon as he saw me, he was like, I didn't even know the dude he was talking to. He was like, yo, this is my son. He didn't say this is like my son. He said, yo, this is my son. And I don't think I felt what I needed to feel from that, you know, until now. Like, there's so much of it was like numbness, and I'm realizing how much in me is numbed emotion.
Unhealed.
Yeah. So I'm like, conversation with Wayne, conversation with my moms about it, I think is necessary, you know.
Called you a son after how many years? Years. Let's say over 10.
Yeah, it's longer than 10, way longer than 10.
Like
15
10 years he hasn't seen you.
Yeah.
And he's still like, this is my son.
Yeah, and
tells you.
Even more powerful, I don't go to my family's events really.
Fair.
He goes to every family event to this day.
Yeah.
He hasn't missed a graduation of my cousins. I'm like, yo, I don't go to any of that.
He bonded with your family.
Yeah.
See, that's what I was gonna say. So like the whole, again, the burden of responsibility made me who I am today, right? It like showed me what to do, made me the doting father.
Yeah.
So you didn't have the same burden. So you retreated to a space that felt like understanding, queer space,
Yeah.
right? And to me, that became who you are in a way,
Yeah.
and that's important. See, the burden of responsibility didn't become who I was. It became the thing that showed me who I was. Queer space isn't who you are, it's what shows you who you are, right? So from that, like think about it. How long did you walk with these emotions in that safe space? You get what I'm saying? And nobody called you out. Sounds great until you realize you feel unfulfilled and you become more anxious. And let's say you do deal with anxiety. It gets worse in spaces that don't help you see why.
Yeah.
Therapeutic spaces change your life, right? And that's literally what we were talking about. Like when Kay started talking about his father and the things he was experiencing. Mr. Vogler even opened up, bro.
Yeah.
Like it was dope. You know what I'm saying? And it was watching that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, I didn't know how human my dad was until I stayed, right? Because the very first time I ever noticed my dad was an unshakable rock, which is what almost everybody at the table said outside of Ray Ray, was that moment where that like they always showed up. Like they were always that guy. He was always strong. He was always in purpose. And then I watched him literally physically get into it with his younger son. And when my brother left, I came back inside. I'm like, damn, I'm trying to straighten up because I mean they was tussling for real. Like it went down, and I broke them up, but it still happened a little bit. So then he goes into the living room and just drops down to his knees and just covers his face and says, I don't know how to save my son. And like that was the first moment for me that I saw a man be a true full spectrum man.
Yeah.
I'd only seen
The heart.
the duty, the obligation. Yes. So like I said, if you would have did this when I was 12, our whole relationship would be different.
Yeah.
Like nothing would be the same between us. I literally almost hated you before this moment, right? Like I moved out, and again, this might be a little too much. I don't want to get us banned or nothing, but like or get this like flagged.
Yeah.
There was a moment where in my life where I literally called my mom and I was just like, yo, I can't stay there anymore because one of us is gonna go. And I said, it's gotten that bad, right? Like I can't talk to this dude. He don't know how to talk to me. And I think he think I'm weak just because of the simple fact that he keep pressing me like I won't fucking son him. And I was like, but again, he raised me to be that dude.
Yeah.
So you're missing the point, right? Like I respect you, which is why I haven't taken any steps. But you can lose that respect too. That, you know what I'm saying? So that was all I knew was that until that moment. And then it made me look at everything different.
Yeah.
Everything. What was I doing? Who am I? Then I went to the military and I got more of that. And I'm sitting in those rooms with those people and having, man, yo, this is gonna sound crazy, but why are you gay? Right? Like, for real.
Yeah.
Not, man, gay is wrong. No, but something got you here, bro. Like,
Yeah.
why? And the amount of trauma and just hurt I heard was the thing that like really led me to see how similar we all are. That's what created my ethos, was being like, why? And I think most people think it's just me, but no, think about all the people who sat with me. The reason I am who I am today is because of those conversations, right? People see me be open and honest today and they're just like, man, so easy for you. You weren't there when it wasn't easy.
No.
But you have been here and I've seen your processes and you've seen some of mine. When I first came in here, I was hard, man. I just talked to one of the guys who was gonna open the space with me.
Yeah.
And like I was talking about how it all went down and he was like, I was not part of those conversations at all. And I'm like, I was right there, bruh. He said, there were no other conversations outside of that conversation. And I've always been about the business first. So for me, when they asked me, was this good? I said no. And it made me go back and reflect on how that went. It felt like a full-on attack because there were some conversations,
right?
But not everybody was part of those conversations,
right?
You get what I'm saying? But when everybody was all in agreement, everybody was attacking me and all the things I did and all the things. But really, the problem was between me and one other individual, and they made it a problem with everybody else. You get what I'm saying? Based on what they were doing, how they moved, so everybody else became collateral damage. Right? I was just like, I'm not doing this with any of you if none of you can come talk to me, which is what I said from the beginning, right? You saw that happen.
Yeah,
you
I was like, we've been there before.
It was the same thing. I was like, yo, I'm telling y'all, like I already said, I don't know what I'm doing. I didn't open this business and was like, I know exactly how to get us to 6 figures. I had no fucking clue. I didn't even know how contracts worked. Help me. No, you'll talk about how bad I am at contracts behind my back. Sounds like a mess, right? So that is... I never did that to any of you, right? And that was like, I felt like my father. Watching people take the thing that I had given and like just act like that. So I was on my knees asking for help, and you were the first person to say, I see you. That's why we're here. Like, that's how we got here. Because I did not know what I was doing at all when we started. I was just like, whatever God say. And most people think I came in as this sharp businessman because I'm so sharp on other things.
Yeah, that's why.
But I didn't, though.
The connection there, yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
How you felt about your dad, if I had seen this earlier.
You get what I mean?
Changed relationships.
Yes.
And it's the same, same for me.
I showed up with that openness.
Right.
Yeah. I wish I had seen my dad in the arena be a full human. Not some idea of what a man's supposed to be, but a full man. I don't understand, but I'm willing to work for it.
Because that's what I came in looking for, right? Came in looking for an example. Like, that's really what I was missing out of my life, is like the entire world and a part of me wants to be successful at being a black man, you know?
We are so different, but so similar.
Yeah.
Like, the paths we walked are so similar, but so different at the same time. And like, when we talk about it, I think people miss it. Right, because they see me as me now, and they see you as you now, and they're like, well, you're not the same. Our experiences are the same. Being human requires you to experience specific things, whether you want to or not.
And that's I think that's what's funny about being an empath, is like, every time I talk to someone, like, you, regardless of, you know, your skin color, your socioeconomic status, like, whatever your trauma is, whatever you're going through, I'm just like, yo, like, I understand that your brain interpreted it differently than I did, but the experiences be very similar. And I'm just like, it makes sense, you know, from the small different nuances of who you are and how your brain works.
If everything's connected, right?
Yeah, everything's connected.
If everything's actually connected, then it wouldn't be weird to be able to relate to someone via similar experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it is.
Right. And so when we started talking about, like, there was all these terms, but I started talking about the ability to sit with another person and how big that can be.
Powerful.
Right? And like, Kay's just like, yep. And Ray was like, confused, but also acknowledging. And Mr. Vogler actually said, you know, what this person said, it's making me reflect on my father and my missed opportunities. We were just talking. Like, it wasn't like some big, here's the PowerPoint thing of how you be a man. Like, it was just, let's just chat, fellas.
Yeah.
You know, and how are you? And when I tell you that felt great.
I think this was the start of the men's group. Like, for real.
Maybe.
Because I don't know.
We talked about meeting every Friday.
Yeah.
So maybe.
Because I don't know how you feel, but like, it seems like how it goes is like, you're priming, you're like, oh, I want to do this thing. You do it, and it doesn't really feel how you wanted the thing to do. And then like the second iteration is, all right. Third iteration is like, yo, it felt right. That felt like men's group. Like, I don't know how the men's groups you've had felt.
No, you're right. No. You're right. Like, yeah, I would say, don't get me wrong. I think the other groups that I've done there's amazing individuals in those groups. However, that was the first time where it was just like common thread, common ground. Yeah. And I've said that. How do you build with other men? Not necessarily a hardship, but going through a difficult thing together. It shows me the mettle of another human, right? It allows for me to see who you are. Like, if you fold under pressure, I'm gonna have a hard time
There's some trust.
hitting you in a moment of pressure,
Yeah.
which becomes trust.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, like, damn, you didn't even push to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
You just said, this is hard, and gave up. And then when I'm going through something hard, I can call you anytime. See, that's hard for me to put together because I've never seen it from you.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you don't have it. It's just for me, I've never seen it from you.
Right.
I can't trust you that way. Why do you think when you go into the military, they have you go through training the way they do? No, rely on the man next to you and see what it's like when you don't give up on a person.
Mm-hmm.
That creates them not giving up on themselves. That's all I bring in here. If you've ever seen me do it, that's how I do it every time,
Yep.
right? Jade is a great example of, like, even in today's training, right? Watching her be like, oh, it's so hard. And I said, Jada, get off the ground. I said, you ain't about to sit in that depression. We're not doing that. And she was like, oh. And it snapped her into a place where she got to really see, like, wow, I really am causing this for myself
right.
in this moment. Like, it's not that I'm not feeling it. I can sit in it or I can keep going, right? And
It's funny you say that because I think we're doing
the similar work on this other side. Yes.
Because Jada was just at kickboxing on Saturday.
This was today. Yep.
Yeah.
What I'm talking about is today.
Yeah. And Jada was at kickboxing on Saturday. She was like mumbling under her breath, I fucking hate this. And I was like, Jada, don't do that. I was like, you decided to come here.
Right.
I was like, you doing the movement slow and enthusiastically and under your breath mumbling how much you hate it is not helping you and it's not helping anyone in this class. And I was like, you can go home, but you decided to come here. Man.
Watching you step into your authoritative space has been fun as fuck for me to watch.
I've been smiling over there.
Right? Because so many people think like, oh, Lyndon's kind of a dick, right? Not realizing that the reason I am the way I am is because
people need it.
You won't, yes. You know what? Yes. Let's say it like that. Yes, people need it.
I'm realizing, people need it.
Yeah, they need you to be who you are unapologetically so they feel the permission to do the same for themselves. And when you rub against one another, it's not bad. It's just rubbing against the other person.
Just sandpaper.
Oh, yeah. Whew. We ain't even gonna get into that. That could be a whole joint in and of itself, right? Because sandpaper is the name of the game, right? Yeah. Like for anybody who comes in here, I am sandpaper. That's it, right? You see the dudes, they lock in now, which they love it. Ant hit me afterwards and sent me like
a
6 paragraphs and then sent me a video like, this is what it used to look like. You're absolutely right. I'm not sure what to do next. So now I have to return that. Like I, as a human being, want to return that. Yeah. It's like, damn, part of me goes into the fear mode of, well, I don't want to give away all the stuff I'm doing. That's stupid, right? And then I recognize the fear. I realize it's fear. And then I make a choice on whether or not to work through said fear or not. So I'm sending him today a video breakdown of like, how I think it's supposed to go and why, because he acknowledged I was smart and like, you don't send that as this is again as a man. I don't know how I go for women, but as a man, I don't tell you my weakness for you to exploit it. I tell you my weakness because I trusted you on some level, and I think you have the answer. Yeah. Right. So like, I feel like you could help me. So this is me trying.
It's a powerful space.
Right. That's why when dudes show up and you pay to be a client, I give out. You see me, I will literally walk you through it. I will take my shirt off and show you the example. I will go the extra mile for the person who shows up. Yep. That's it. So talking about Jada a little bit, when Jada shows up and like half-asses, I could focus on how much she's not doing, or I could focus on those who are doing. And I will acknowledge, hey, come on. You can do it. And then I move right out of it. You are not the focus. When you come in here, you are part of something greater. You are not the focus. I know you're used to being the focus. Fuck all of that, right? Because in my space, you are never the focus. The community is the focus. The ability to persevere, the ability to develop consistency, which changes your life, is the focus.
Getting this ethos in
right. Fuck all that, all that depression shit. I don't give a fuck about your depression. You know why I don't give a fuck about your depression? Because you shouldn't either. Let's go forward, right? And that is what changes. So like at first it was, it's so hard. Like, and then I was like, and I just kept going. I never, I didn't like admonish her, but at the same time, I was like, come on now. Yeah. Let's go. And eventually by the end, she was keeping up. Right. She was keeping up. Again, that's being a good man to me. Right? Like being a good man to me isn't being better than everybody else. It's showing up in spite of. that becomes other people's healing. So now I'm getting asked more about God.
Yeah, I knew this was coming.
Like, I'm getting asked more.
I'm excited about this. Actually,
I'm not sure we're gonna go with
Actually,
this.
I'm curious about this because I came in here and like I knew it was part of it. Obviously, like I've been seeking my like understanding of spirituality or like faith.
Yes.
And just being in this space, I think a part of me was like, you know what, this is a good thing to plug into because I haven't explored that side of myself, and you have, so I'm already taking pages from your book. I might as well.
Fair. Yeah, ask questions. Like, I'm willing to answer any questions when it comes to my faith and what I believe and all the other stuff. And sometimes, as I was talking to the fellas about this morning, your questions bring me clarity too. Sometimes I've never given voice to what I do and how I do it. Being in community helps me do that. And then I hear something from you and all of a sudden it becomes my save or my connection as well. So I teach, but I damn sure remain a student in the game. So that way I can learn too. So ask away. And anybody, it don't matter who it is, ask. Just because I believe that's how we grow.
Facts.
Right? Again, I could teach and be a student. Both are possible.
Both are necessary.
Absolutely. I don't even know how long we've been going, but we've been riffing.
I think this is it.
Right?
Good.
We're going to do this more. Obviously, we do this more, but at the same time, let us know what you guys think. For those who have given feedback, appreciate the feedback. But seriously, man, leave some comments, like the videos, share them, so that way we can reach more people.